Greetings, my scattered sisters and brothers in the Lord. I trust you know the Lord is with you wherever you find yourself scattered today, and that you know that His presence with you is more than enough for whatever you might face today. We're going to spend one more episode on Elijah being taken from Elisha, that whirlwind, those chariots of fire. And you recall we're in 2 Kings chapter 2, and Elisha has been following Elijah. He knows that the Lord is about to take Elijah up. And Elijah tells Elisha, you stay here while the Lord calls me over here. And Elisha says, nope, as surely as the Lord lives and as you live, I'm going with you. They get to Jericho, which is kind of close to the Jordan River. And Elijah says the same thing. The Lord has called me down to the Jordan and you stay here. And Elisha says, nope, surely as the Lord lives and as you live, I'm going with you. And they get down to the Jordan River, and the company of the prophets from Jericho, they're watching all this happen, about 50 of them. And Elijah takes his cloak and he strikes the water, and the water parts, and Elijah and Elisha cross on dry ground, going east, kind of into the wilderness. The place where you learn to depend upon God. And they get to the other side, and Elijah stops, and he says to Elisha, what can I do for you? What would you like for me to do for you before I am taken from you? And Elijah asked for a double portion of Elijah's spirit. He wants to inherit a double portion of Elijah's spirit. And that would be kind of wanting to inherit your ministry, want to inherit the presence of God, the Spirit of God that's upon you, that would be with me. And so Elijah says to him, you've asked a difficult thing, but if you see me taken from you, you'll receive it. If not, you won't get it. And so he needs to follow Elijah right to the very end. And he has. Hasn't been easy, but he has. And that's the key to receiving the Spirit, this ministry, is to follow to the end. And sure enough, Elijah is taken up before his eyes, the whirlwind, the chariots of fire, and he sees Elijah being taken up, and he's there. He's kind of succeeded in terms of being with Elijah to the end. And now the question is, okay, does he receive a double portion of Elijah's spirit? And there he sees Elijah's cloak on the ground. And so he takes the cloak, and like Elijah, he rolls it up, and he goes to the Jordan River and he strikes it. And he has a question. Where is the Lord, the God of Elijah? It's kind of like, God, are you with me? Have I really received the ministry, that double portion of Elijah's spirit? And the water parts, and he crosses on dry ground. And he gets to the other side. The company of prophets are there. They've seen the whole thing. They're exclaiming how the spirit of Elijah is with or upon Elisha. And yet at the same time, they're asking Elisha, do you want us to go look for Elijah? And Elisha says, no, he knows he's taken up. And they persist. There's 50 of us. Who knows, maybe the Lord just moved him and relocated him. And finally, Elisha gives in and says, okay, go look. They return 3 days later. They haven't found Elijah. And Elisha basically says, didn't I tell you? And so we have a couple things I want us to think about here as we begin to wrap this up. First of all, it was difficult to follow. That was a key to receiving the Spirit. That was a key to receiving the ministry of Elijah. And then when he received it, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to go forth and continue on Elijah's ministry. There's going to be opposition. There's going to be challenges. It's not going to be easy. It will be a difficult thing. But the good news is he not only receives the ministry of Elijah, but he receives the presence of God that Elijah experienced. And so, yes, the ministry will be difficult, but in receiving the ministry, he receives the Spirit of God, who empowers Elisha for the difficulties. Just as Elijah was empowered by God for the difficulties he faced. And so, kind of difficult to follow, but because you followed, you receive, but now there's more difficulties. You inherited this ministry, but you also inherit the Spirit. You inherit God's presence and God's commitment to empower you through the difficulties. Second thing I want to focus on for a quick moment. He crossed the Jordan and went back. Kind of interesting. He re-engages. So he went into the wilderness to receive the Spirit, and instead of just kind of staying there and, doing whatever miracles maybe he wanted to do to see if he had the spirit of Elijah, no, he is crossing back over the Jordan to re-engage, to really continue on the ministry of Elijah, which is really the ministry of God. And so he crosses back over and re-engages. There's more work to do, and he's going forward to that work. And then the third thing we see is that the company of the prophets, they recognize that the spirit of Elijah is upon Elisha, and yet they still want to go find Elijah. And I'm not sure what all's up with that, whether they just can't believe that Elijah is really gone, or whether they would prefer to work with Elijah rather than Elisha, kind of resistant to the new. Maybe they're kind of thinking, why not one of us? I don't know. But it's interesting that they're trying to hold on to Elijah when Elisha knows that he's been taken, and that Elisha is the new prophet, the one who has inherited the ministry of Elisha, and he's ready to get to work. So I think about all this, and I think about different people in my life that have been kind of Elijah-like to me in terms of mentors, teachers, pastors, and they've been taken. Some of them have been taken up to glory. They've already passed, sometimes relocated. And in that, you kind of begin to realize, okay, now the ministry is on me. Now it's on me to teach. Now it's upon me to preach. Now it's upon me to serve the Lord and to care for the flock and to care for students. Now it's on me. And it's kind of those, Elisha moments where, okay, Lord, are you with me like you were with them? And the answer comes back, yes, I'm with you like I was with them. Continue on in the work. And sometimes you'll find people that are still looking for, the old one. But it's you, and the Lord is with you. The Lord is with you to continue the work that you inherited that was left to you, because really it's God's work. And so I don't know where you might be scattered today. I don't know what work you might have in front of you to do for the Lord. I don't know how he has called you, but go forth, continue the work, engage in the work, and know that the Lord is with you. And it may be difficult, but he grants his Spirit to empower you for the difficulties of whatever that ministry might be. Never mind that others might be looking for the old. The Lord's with you. And the Lord has commissioned you, like he's commissioned Elisha, to follow in the steps of Elijah. And really, it's the Lord's ministry. And we are commissioned and following in the steps of Jesus by the power of his Spirit. Well, God bless. Have a great day, engage, and know that the Lord is with you.